Hello and welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with We. I have with me today a couple members of our Women in Electronics. We have Jeana Feely. Hi, Jeana.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. And Amy Garcia. Amy, thanks
Hi.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I know how busy everybody is. And today's topic is finding your traction in the new norm, whatever that looks like. So we were just talking about this a little bit and how, you know, in some ways things are going really well and we can find a lot of creative solutions. In other ways, it's just kind of still weird and different, and we're still trying to find our way through in a lot of ways. So, you know, I feel like you're both professionals who have families and you have work and a lot of responsibilities. So I don't know, Jeana, maybe I'll just start with you. How are you finding the times? What's going well? What's challenging? Like, how are you doing?
Yeah, so it is a challenge, and there's so many things that have changed. I think that trying to manage what's changing from a professional sense, where, you know, typically I'm on the road in front of customers. We have suppliers coming into town, and now none of that's happening. So from a professional work perspective, there's so much that's changing there, and figuring out how to connect with customers and how to maintain the relationships without being able to be in front of people. That's challenging. And then at the same time, while you're trying to be flexible and creative and come up with solutions in that sense, at the same time, you know, I've been trapped at home with a 7-month-old and a 2-year-old, and so trying to trapped is maybe a bad word, but maybe like an accurate word.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out how to really focus and be productive, and continue to you know, get work done and move things forward, in a time that really requires a lot of intellectual, you know, focus and creativity, while being distracted. So actually, if you notice, I am not at my house today, because when I do need to focus, I come to, we have a shared workspace, because I just, there's sometimes that things require a certain amount of focus that I just can't get done in the house. And so that's one way that I found to be productive. But Amy, I know your kids are a little bit older than mine. I don't know how that's a different set of challenges, I'm sure.
Right. So, yeah, I have a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, and a 1st grader, and they all, you know, have all of their different needs. It's chasing one around to make sure that she's not playing games on the iPad. She's actually doing work, and the other ones are, you know, please. Right now she's trying to crash my video. And so I think it's just, you know, it's been really challenging. And I think for them, what's worked out is once they start they're just done with their homeschooling, then we're really big into exercise. It's like, look, you guys need to go out, you know, go run the mile. And so, I mean, and my husband stays and works with them a lot. And so he's very good with that, but it's a totally different kid that comes back in. You know, and so that enables me to go in, and I mean, my meetings, same as Jeana, I used to be on the road the vast majority of the day, maybe 4 or 5 meetings a day. Now on Mondays, I have 14 meetings, like every half hour I have a meeting. And so what I do is if I see even a half-hour window, I am like done with one meeting and I take off out the door and I'll just go do a loop, you know, up and down the hill by my house just to get my body just reset a little bit. And it works amazingly well. And even I'll have my boss calling me. I said, look, I only have a half hour to talk to you. You're coming on this walk with me, you know, and he gets it. He says, you know, that's totally fine. I need you to be doing this, you know? So, and that helps. And then the kids who are being real needy, if they happen to be available at that time, it's like, look, come with me. You know, you can come with us. I mean, I'll be talking to my boss, walking with the kid. Everybody's getting attention, you know, so that's been really helpful. I feel like when we're this slammed, exercise is the main key for me. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time for that. And a lot of people are saying how much weight they're gaining during COVID. But I feel like if you don't prioritize it and push it, that happen, then it's not going to. And another thing that I've done is I just set boundaries, and I tell my team to as well. I say, you know, you don't have to go to every meeting that you're invited to. And they
Mhm.
said, well, but we're being pushed for this many meetings a week or whatever. I said, but you don't have to go to them all. You know, you
Yeah.
push back, and there has to be some sort of balance in between. You know, one of my guys is taking care of his, I think, 15-month-old. So every so often you'll hear a little shriek in the back of, you know, a call. But if we're all understanding, and I think that's one of the graces of this crazy time, is that everybody's in the same situation. So everybody understands your dog's going to bark, your kid might come in, you know, stuff like that. So I think that part is people are being a lot more flexible and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's a great equalizer, right? Because it's like everybody's in the same situation. I think that you made a good point, Jeana, though, about, you know, the focus and also creativity, because I've been interviewing so many leaders, and we have that Leader in Highlight series, and creativity is one of the major leadership skills that we all need. And sometimes when you're not able to focus and you're super distracted, that can really influence that creativity. So you having that time and that dedicated space is really great. Not everybody has that. So that's why it can be so challenging right now. And the other thing I'm finding, I don't know what you both think, people are starting to get a little cranky. So people do get overwhelmed. You know, you have your family situation, you have work, you have a lot of responsibilities, and life just moves forward. It doesn't stop for this. So what are you finding? Do you find people to be having grace, or do you find people getting a little more cranky these days, or how do you see even yourself? But I don't know, Jeana, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think it's really a mixed bag. There are some people that, you know, I've been working with for years, and all of a sudden I'm on a phone call with them and they start telling me about their kids and their family, and they're, you know, they're really opening up and they're looking for that connection, and they're, you know, significantly more empathetic than they maybe ever have been before.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people that same thing. I've worked with them for years, and all of a sudden I can't get a response on an email or a phone call, or when I do, it's very short. And so I haven't had an experience where I've been, because it's all WebExes or phone calls, right? So I haven't been in a virtual meeting or on a phone call with someone who has maybe lost their composure, or they were visibly overwhelmed. But I think it's probably because those people that are in those situations are reluctant to take those meetings, and they're not answering their phone, and they're, so I think it's just, there are some people that it's really hard to get in touch with. But it, you know, every person has such unique situations, and there's so many different things going on in people's lives that every person you talk to is struggling with something different. Everyone is struggling. Everyone has had changes, you know, but it's so different for every person. So, I think, and I think what you said, you know, we're getting to a point, the longer this goes on, I think either people were finding a way to adapt and overcome. And I think that's generally true for most people. You know, things are hard, but we just, you said earlier before we started here, you just have to figure it out. You have to find a way that works for you, and move forward through whatever your challenges are, because there's no other choice. You know, you have your job, and, you know, super fortunate to still have our jobs. I mean, that's a lot of people are struggling, you know, because they don't have jobs anymore, but you have your job and you have your kids, and neither one of those is going away. You know, so you just gotta figure it out.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, we were kind of talking about this, but I think we have this whole webinar coming up for Women Electronics Friday is maintaining positivity, and that's always great. But there's a lot of times you just don't feel positive, and you don't feel like things are going well, and you've got to just bear down and do the grind and get through what you have to get through. I don't know, Amy, have you had any of those experiences?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I've been worried about some of the people that I know that maybe are home isolated, you know, and I get, those are the ones I worry about the most, because they're just by themselves for however many months, you know, so I worry about them a lot. And so I try to do a lot of calls, and, you know, and just face to face, and they seem super grateful to see another person a lot of times, because we don't have to be on camera all the time, but I try to make them and say, hey, let's just get on, and, you know, whatever. And And a lot of times in the beginning of this whole thing, I was trying to catch up on all my week during the weekend. So I'd sit there and do hours and hours of emails on the weekend. And this last weekend, I did not. I'm just like, this is it. I just, and I feel so much different today, knowing that I didn't just work for 7 straight days or 14 straight days, So I think just trying to allow yourself to do something like that and realize that the work will be there. And if it's super important that, they'll email you again, or they'll call you, or, if you miss something. And there have been emails that I've missed. So, I think people, and I think people are getting frustrated, but a lot of them, they can close their camera and put you on mute and yell at you, and they feel better. So, and people have told me they do that, and that's okay too. So, so that's just.
I think it's just, it's very different times. It's going to take a long time to get back to kind of some of what we're used to, and it's just a process. So I appreciate you both being here today to talk about some of this. And I think it's important in our Women in Electronics networking group that we all reach out to each other and let each other know when we need support and when we need help, because it's not always all positive. We try to see that, and at the end we'll come out much better off, and we're going to learn a lot through this. But sometimes there's just a major grind in the process, and it's okay. And it's okay for people to say, oh, this is just really hard for me right now. It's a tough phase. Some people have great family situations, or playing video games every night, or whatever. They're playing board games. Other people, it's not so great. So everybody has a different situation, right? So anyway, I appreciate you both being here today. This has been really fun to talk to you, and we'll look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you so much, Becky.
Thank you.